please.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We were just wrapping up a quick committee meeting. Tonight is a regular meeting of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education. It is December 12th, 2022, and we'd like to start with a roll call, please.
Mr. Blondo.
Here.
Mrs. Varghese.
Here.
Dr. Blundy.
Here.
Mr. Luisi. Ms. Martin.
Here.
Ms. Molinelli. Mr. Stankus.
Here.
Ms. Steffens.
Here.
Mr. Weaver.
Here.
Great. If you could all please join me with a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by mailing copies of said notice to the record, filing copies of said notice with the municipal clerks of Hillsdale, Montvale, Rivervale, and Woodcliff Lake, and publishing said notice in the record on August 15th, 2022. Before we get to the routine matters, I want to take a moment to recognize a member who would have been her last night tonight, Tammy Molinelli, who is retiring at the end of this term, which ends at the end of this month. Tammy, I think it was 9 years that she's been on the board. I think it was 3 full terms. Has been very active in all kinds of public service, dedicated her heart and soul to this district, and presided over probably the 3 roughest years. I've been in municipal government for almost 30 years, and she presided over probably the 3 toughest years that I've seen at any level in any organization. There were a lot of issues facing this district. There were a lot of issues facing this country that also hit this district. So I want to say thank you, Tammy, for your service. You will be missed, and to give her good luck in the rest of her endeavors. With that, we have routine matters. Superintendent's report.
Sure. I am thrilled that we are going to be recognizing so many deserving students for their hard work and academic excellence in a few moments later in this meeting. I also am very pleased to announce that through the hard work of our guidance department, our school counselors, we were selected to receive full funding by the New Jersey Department of Ed to participate in something called the DREAMS Grant Program. In short, the DREAMS Grant will provide participating districts with specific training, basically focusing on the whole child and how to infuse something called the Nurtured Heart approach into curriculum and into our everyday instruction. We were very excited to be able to receive that to focus more on our already pretty robust wellness initiatives. This is going to help both the counseling department and the child study team department, as well as our teachers, to continue that wellness initiative that we have. With that, we can turn it over to the students.
Very good. Olivia from Pascack Hills.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Olivia G., and I'll be presenting the Pascack Hills Student Report for the month of December. Firstly, the co-curricular item number 1 is senior Ariel Sharon successfully auditioned for the Bergen County Band on November 29th, 2022, with musicians from all over Bergen County. He will be representing Pascack Hills in the percussion section of the ensemble at their January 15th concert at Bergenfield High School. Co-curricular item number 2, congratulations to Ariel Sharon, Zachary Lagesson, Hayden Hopper, Caitlin Buckley, and Raina Alico on their acceptance to the 2022-23 Bergen County Choir. It is an honor and privilege to perform in an ensemble made up of the best singers in the county. BCC will perform on January 15th, 2023 at 3 p.m. at the Bergenfield High School. Co-curricular item number 3, the Pascack Hills Model UN attended the 2022 Princeton Conference on November 17th. This year's conference saw over 1,000 students from across the world in attendance. The Pascack Hills team won 3 major awards under the direction of advisor Miss Jane Yeam. Seniors Alana Kimball and Rachel Kim won honorable mention or 3rd place for their distinguished representation of South Korea in the legal committee. Alana Mednard and Jordana Brief, 2 other seniors, earned outstanding delegation, 2nd place, for their efforts in representing Taiwan in the legal committee as well. And finally, seniors Layla Dewan and Alice Grodsky won Best Delegation or 1st place for their representation of Greece in the Social, Humanitarian, and Cultural Committee. For athletic items, number 1 is that winter sports have started and are working towards great, strong seasons. And academic awards on December 1st, the Celebrate Languages ceremony took place in the Pascack Hills Auditorium. Students were recognized for earning the NJDOE Seal of Biliteracy in 1 or more languages and or being inducted into the Chinese, French, Italian, or Spanish National Honor Societies. This year, Pascack Hills High School students have earned the NJDOE Seal of Biliteracy and Global Seal of Biliteracy in many different languages. My fun fact of the day is, what did the duck say when it bought some lipstick? Put it on my bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Olivia?
Good evening. My name is Isabella Velez, and I will be giving the Pascack Valley Student Report for December. Classroom item number 1. The district robotics team has created an assistive website, Ready, Set, Speak, for those with autism and speech apraxia. Number 2. The PV Music Department will present its annual holiday concert on Thursday, December 15th at 7 p.m. in the PV Auditorium. Our students worked hard to make sure you leave the concert in high spirits, ready for the holidays. The grand finale will be our traditional Hallelujah chorus from the Messiah, sung by all choirs and any alumni and faculty members who are in attendance and willing to join. The concert is open to the general public and admission is free. Number 3, Jeff Seinfeld once again educated and challenged Mr. Jasper's AP Gov and Mr. Sarajian's U.S. History 2 classes deliberating on the latest immigration crisis and Supreme Court hearings. He then switched gears and used a criminal case to illustrate an example of interpreting the Fourth Amendment. As usual, Mr. Steinfeld entertained and engaged the students. This was a civic engagement coupled with a college-level seminar, a truly winning combination. First up for co-curricular items. The Spanish National Honor Society adopted a family for the holiday season. Students worked together to donate and shop for the family based on their wish list and were able to deliver over $300 worth of gifts to a family in need in Paramus to celebrate the season. Number 2, PV Pals began this month. All freshmen are being given the opportunity to be linked with an upperclassman to help provide support. We are excited for this wonderful opportunity to build a closer PV community. Number 3, the students in the French Honor Society are translating a website from English into French to be used by students in Haiti. For athletic items, congratulations to the following student athletes who were named first team All-Bergen County for the fall season. Sabrina Arcilla for volleyball, Amanda Poliniak for girls soccer, Shane Feder for boys soccer, and Brandon Flanagan for football. Number 2, congratulations to Coach John Murtaugh for being named Bergen County Boys Cross Country Coach of the Year. Well-deserved recognition for Coach Murtaugh. Number 3, congratulations to the PV Boys Cross Country team for being named Bergen County Team of the Year. This is a remarkable accomplishment for the entire team and coaching staff. Congrats on a historical season. And lastly, December 15th marks the beginning of 50th season of girls basketball at Pascack Valley High School. As we go back in history, we recognize it as a key moment in equity in our district and the beginning of a long gold line. The advent of women's sports, the impact of Title IX, and more. We also pause to recognize that there has been one coach for those 50 years, Jeff Jasper. Coach Jasper and the hundreds of athletes he has coached represent the standard for not only women's basketball and sports, but for all high school sports programs. Coach Jasper and the Long Gold Line are a special part of Pascack Valley. Fun fact, the PV's student government hosted another successful Valley Cup the day before Thanksgiving break. It was a spirited week culminating in an exciting assembly. Highlights were the tug of war and 3-on-3 basketball. On December 1st, the Executive Council joined with the PV Theater Company to help promote World AIDS Day, encouraging all students to wear red to raise awareness for this wonderful cause. On December 7th, the PV Executive and Class Council supported Mallory's Army in conjunction with Pascack Hills to help raise awareness about teenage suicide. Students in both buildings wore blue for the day and were invited to attend a presentation by Mallory's Army at night at Pascack Hills. And for my joke, why did the fish have such bad grades? Because they're below sea level.
Thank you. Okay. We have a few committee reports. Is there someone to give a finance committee report?
Well, we did have a meeting, but it was to go over the audit. So it was a preview of what we're going to see tonight.
Okay, so nothing else.
Well, nothing new other than what's going to be presented. So.
Mike, you comfortable giving a few words on our facilities committee?
From 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. High level.
So facilities met 10 minutes ago for about an hour to review a variety of projects that are or have been discussed for quite a while. I'd like to thank administration. One thing that we've discussed around this table was facilities at Pascack Hills for our female student athletes. And so administration has worked with our architect to begin to develop plans so that we can see what options are available to us and tie those options to cost. And we're in the process of analyzing those pieces. We discussed auditorium renovations at both schools and also roof replacement. And as the public knows, costs with a variety of things are increasing. And so we're working to see how we can fit all those projects into our current budget and our capital reserves.
Thanks, Mike. Health and wellness, you met as well?
Yes. Can you hear me? Yep. So we met this week, and you talked a little bit about the Dreams Grant already, but I first wanted to give a really big kudos to all of the counselors and the people on the wellness team. You know, it's one thing to implement or to create all these amazing programs and resources for the students, especially in this post-COVID world and everything that's sort of been thrown at us. But the fact that so many students are utilizing it and getting a benefit from it is huge. And I think that's amazing. Besides the Dreams Grant, the Wellness Week was a really big success last year, and we're going to implement that again this year. It has a whole array of topics from mindfulness to healthy cooking in ways that we can cope with different forms of stress. There was the biggest consensus was students were coming in. We were asking, what are a lot of the students coming to the Wellness Center for? And there was a lot of, anxiety was a word, and stress that was used a lot. But when it came to academics, math was the one that was pointed out as a big one. So there's been a lot of teachers and supportive math help that the students have found very, very beneficial. Ginny brought up a really good point, and that was, how are the teachers doing, right? How are the teachers coping with this as well? So having them, have access to the Wellness Center and utilizing a lot of these modalities is great as well. The safety, they continue to meet with the police on the lockdowns and different ways that we can make our schools safe for all of our students. And that was pretty much it.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay. We have some minutes to approve. Item 5, we have 3 minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Can we have a roll call, please?
Dr. Blondie,
Abstain.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Abstain.
Mr. Blundell.
Yes. Okay, now to the part which I think most of you are here for. So we have many deserving student recognitions to go through. And I'm going to ask our Vice President, Ginny, to kind of take over the microphone here and be our MC as Sarah and I greet the students. Okay.
first recognition we have is for the National Merit Scholar semifinalist. Whereas Grace Jansen, a senior at Pascack Valley High School, has been recognized as a semifinalist in the 2023 National Merit Scholarship Program. Grace is one of more than 16,000 semifinalists in the 68th Annual National Merit Scholarship Program. These academically talented high school seniors have an opportunity to continue in the competition for some 7,250 National Merit Scholarships worth nearly $28 million that will be offered next spring. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Grace for her outstanding achievement. Next, we have the National Merit Scholar commended students. Whereas about 34,000 commended students throughout the nation are being recognized for their exceptional academic promise. Commended students placed among the top 50,000 students who entered the 2023 competition by taking the 2021 preliminary SAT, the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. Jake Agranovich from Hills. Ethan Chu from Valley. Jinsu Kim, Hills. Kieran O'Brien, Valley. Daniel Schwartz, Valley. Laura Smith, Hills. Jack Benson, Valley. Rowan Gokley, Valley. Jonathan Matthew, Hills. Daniel Pellegrin, Valley. Karina Shah, Valley. Kira Tracy, Valley. Zachary Burdett, Valley. Trey Jaha, Hills. Sabrina Moe, Hills. Aditya Pokala, Hills. Austin Sibley, Hills. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend these students for their outstanding achievement.
I wonder if you can Google facial recognition. Just get all the names of the students. My daughter's here.
Next, we'll recognize the AP Scholars. Whereas the following students from Pascack Hills and Pascack Valley High Schools are advanced placement scholars. These are students who receive scores of 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. Jillian Barkis, Hills. Jordana Brief, Hills. Lydia Edelstein, Hills. Nicole Gallo, Hills. Minchie Kim, Valley. Jessica Ponce, Valley. Daniel Schwartz, Valley. Caitlin Slazinski, Valley. Jack Benson, Valley. Dylan Cochin, Hills. Justin Glazer, Hills. Shayna John, Valley. Grace Misha, Valley. Alex Rothenberg, Valley. Asta Shukla, Hills. Grace Zack, Hills. Zachary Burdett, Valley. Michael Criscuolo, Valley. Rowan Gokley, Valley. Newper Carney, Valley. Aditya Pokala, Hills. Sabrina Schmoyer, Valley. Austin Sibley, Hills.
have a meeting.
We don't have another meeting this month, right?
Shoot, I got this. One's my
What's
job.
that, for school? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to this one first. Yeah, there we go. I was on the chair on the other one, so I have to be there
For what?
for the curriculum technology, so
Yeah.
kind of have to do it that.
Yeah, you do. What's the biggest
Lesson
one
plan
right there?
committees for us at school.
That's the
going
biggest
over
one. I got the
lesson
same time.
plans. Easier for the newer teachers.
Oh,
You can't believe the details we have to have on our lesson plans at work. Unbelievable.
You can't see me, I can't see you, so.
I'm interested about the math.
Good, all right.
I want to hear more about that.
Great, thanks so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it doesn't, it's too much.
Get ready. I know, yeah.
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 Next, we have the AP Scholars with Honors. Whereas the following students from Pascack Hills and Pascack Valley High Schools are advanced placement scholars. These are students who receive scores at least 3.25 on all advanced placement exams taken and scores 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. Tala Atkinson, Hills. Amy Hoffman, Valley. Jonathan Matthew, Hills. Francesca Sinelli, Valley. Alexis Ban, Valley. Trey Jaha, Hills. Sabrina Moe, Hills. Matthew Yakir, Valley. Ethan Chu, Valley. Grant Lenardic, Hills. Tresha Nilawera, Valley. Hannah Yu, Valley. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend these students for their outstanding achievement.
I don't know, I think all these people are here for the audit.
Wait, this wasn't attached to the, no, right? We're just getting, I was gonna say.
No, this is the company here, this is their thing.
I wouldn't, yeah, okay.
This is their baby.
This is a different language for me.
Oh, yeah.
I do not comprehend. This is my husband's thing. Audits.
No.
He even said those school audits are a whole nother,
Yeah.
they're nothing like what he does. He does nonprofit and mutual fund.
It's pretty amazing.
Next, we have AP Scholars with Distinction. Whereas the following students from Pascack Hills and Pascack Valley High Schools are Advanced Placement Scholars with Distinction. These are students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. Jake Agranovich, Hills. Cameron Schmidt, Hills. Grace Jansen, Valley. Karina Shah, Valley. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend these students for their outstanding achievement. Next, we have the College Board National Hispanic Recognition Program Award. Whereas Eva Sinande, a senior at Pascack Valley High School, was honored for the College Board National Hispanic Recognition Program Award this summer. Eva did an outstanding job on her PSAT and AP exams in order to qualify for this award. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Eva for her outstanding achievement. Next, we have the Bergen County Band Awards. Whereas the following students from Pascack Hills and Pascack Valley High School were accepted into the Bergen County Honors Band. Ming Lan Quinn, Pascack Valley. Oh, he's on the trombone. Ariel Sharon, Hills, percussion. Carolyn Veit, Valley, trumpet. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education recognize and commend Ming Lang, Ariel, and Carolyn for their outstanding achievement.
Oh, he's no, we're done. I think it's a good time to tell them to vote. Oh, wow. That's perfect. Congratulations.
Tammy's not here, so we can do that quick.
How do they get notified to come? Okay. So it's like everybody knows.
For the public, we're just allowing our guests to exit. We'll be back live in a moment. was great, and so many students to be proud of. Fantastic turnout, and each one of them very well deserving. Second. All right, so I'm glad I gave my thank you to Tammy before everybody left, so they got to hear it. But we will read a resolution from the board to Tammy, and we don't usually read every line, but I'm going to do my best to do that. Whereas Ms. Tammy Malinelli was elected to serve as a Woodcliff Lake representative to the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education, beginning January 2014 and served until December 2022. And whereas Ms. Malinelli did faithfully attend and actively participate at the executive and public meetings of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education during that time period, and whereas Ms. Malinelli did serve as board president starting January 2019 and did serve until December 2021, and whereas Ms. Malinelli did serve as chairperson of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Student Activities Committee, and whereas Ms. Malinelli did serve as a committee member of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Negotiation, Guidance, District Evaluation Advisory, Communication, Buildings and Grounds, Policy, Post-Secondary Planning, Curriculum Instruction, and Technology, Health, Wellness, and Safety Committees, just about everything we do here at one point or another. Whereas Ms. Malinelli, during her time on the board, focused on the success of all students, bringing a unique perspective to curriculum planning, focusing on student success, and not just in college, but in all post-secondary plans and pathways. Whereas Ms. Malinelli always put students first in all decisions, in all conversations, and whereas Ms. Malinelli led the board with professionalism, fairness, with a focus on Pascack Valley Regional High School District's strong vision for success, including enduring student focus, was an innovation individually and inquiry. And whereas Ms. Malinelli supported staff, students, and the community in her actions to move our entire school community forward in the right direction. And now therefore it be resolved that the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education does express its sincere appreciation to Ms. Malinelli on behalf of the superintendent, board members, students, and citizens of our four sending districts for her efforts on their behalf. And be it further resolved that Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education members individually and jointly thank Ms. Tammy Malinelli for her contributions and camaraderie over this time frame, and does wish her well in her other endeavors. And further be it resolved that a copy of this recognition, a resolution recognizing Ms. Tammy Malinelli, be spread upon the minutes of the Pascack Valley Regional High School District Board of Education. And let's take a vote. Can we have a roll call on that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call. Thank you.
Dr. Bundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundell.
Yes. So item 8, we have some presentations. Dr. Backenheimer, I believe, is that on annual, well, we have an annual audit, which is Valerie
Correct.
first. So is Valerie Dolan here?
Mhm.
There she is.
Good evening, everybody. Is this on? Do we know? Can you hear me okay? You can hear me?
Yes.
I usually have a loud enough voice, so most people can hear me anyway. Let me just take a moment to introduce myself, as you've probably never seen me before. My name is Valerie Dolan, and I am the partner with Ms. Savaccia. We are the independent auditors hired by Pascack to conduct our financial audit. I work in conjunction with Bud Jones, who has been your partner on the account. We are working together on this account, so I felt it would be best for me to come and present the audit this year. I have to first commend your business office. Their preparation of the records for us are stellar. It makes our audit go very smoothly. We can come in and conduct our audit with the utmost efficiency due to those employees. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of the reports that you have in front of you, whether they're electronic or in the actual hardcover books, you actually have 2 documents from us. The first one is a large book, which is your CAFR, or your ACFR, as it's now referred to, and that's the largest audit, and that's actually 4 main sections contained in that audit. There's a small introductory section that tell you a little bit about roster of officials, your consultants, your advisors. There's a very large financial section which discloses a lot of financial information, a lot of changes. It goes through every funding that you receive. There's actually a statistical section in the report that's labeled the J's. That's actually quite informative. It's 10 years comparative. So at any point you can go back and look at the last 10 years and see a trend. And then lastly, there's a single audit section, which is your detail of all of your grants and the compliance related. There additionally is a small report, my management's report. That is my report to the board on all of the items that I have reviewed and my findings. There were a couple of nuances for this year's report. Once again, we are delayed by the state of New Jersey. The state has held us up on some pieces of information for your financial reporting. However, those items are deemed to be, we can satisfactorily report the audit. However, what we have is we have a qualified opinion in this report. That qualification is merely and documented in the opinion for 1 audit schedule and 1 footnote disclosure. That's the only qualification. Other than that, the report is an unmodified opinion, basically meaning you have clean financial statements. I do want to go through a couple of financial numbers. We go through these big books, we generate a whole lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, there's probably what I would say is 13 pages in this whole report that tell you the whole story. Those 13 pages are, if you want to start on about page 92 on the audit, and are about 13 pages if you want to follow. I just want to make sure I gave you the right page number. That is actually the reference called the audit schedule C1. What that C1 schedule does is it walks you through your budget. It shows you your anticipated revenues and where they came in actuality, and every one of your line items in your budget and where they were spent. It walks you all the way through your budget, and at the end of the day, on the last page, it gets you to what the most important number is. How did the district fare at the end of the day? Your surplus or fund balances, it's not necessarily all available, but those fund balances at the end of the year are a little over $18 million, which is actually an increase of about $850,000 from this point last year. However, that $18 million fits itself in a lot of buckets. You have the largest piece of that is about $9.2 million of your capital reserve. That is the money you've set aside for all of your capital projects. It is important to note that of that $9 million, almost a little over 4.5 has been appropriated and being utilized for the budget that you're currently in right now. You have about $639,000 in a maintenance reserve. That is helped to offset maintenance costs of your facilities. You have $262,000 in an emergency reserve. That money is literally, as we say, it's there for emergency purposes. You have a little over $200,000 in unemployment. That money will be used to pay any unemployment claims the district might have. And then it leaves you with a couple of few items. You have some surplus from the prior year of $946,138. That's being utilized by the district currently now for the budget year in. There's a little over $1.5 million that represents encumbrances. Those are purchase orders that were ordered by the district before June 30th for which goods and services have not been received. And then another additional $181,000 of fund balance that had been utilized. So that, when you take all those pieces out, then we really get to what are the two big numbers. What does the district have in unfunded, unreserved fund balance, and what are you going to be needing to, what's going to be required to go back in the budget for the subsequent year. You have a little over $3.2 million in unassigned fund balance, and that's the max you're allowed to hold by the state, and that leaves you with $826,509. That's sort of your nut to start when you're building your budget. Within that $3.2 million is an additional percentage that you will be utilizing to support your budget, because during COVID, the state of New Jersey gave you the ability to hold more than your required 2%. They are allowing you to hold 4% of your expenditures in reserve. That will go away at the end of next year. So from my conversations with finance and your business administrator, those funds will be coming through your budget in the 23-24 year. Also, in addition, about $2.5 million worth of federal, local, and state grants also went through the district. So it's a lot of numbers, but like I said, you're in really good financial shape, and you've really set yourselves up to be able to build a budget going forward. Now, when you look at my management report, those are my items of areas that I go through. When I come through, I'm very happy to say it's actually a clean audit. There are no formal recommendations, which means other than accepting the audit tonight, you will not have to make any type of corrective action plan on any of the recommendations. Goes to show how well your business office really does function. We do like to put in periodically in our reports what we refer to as suggestions to management. They are areas that are not problems, but either are problems for other districts and or could be projects problems or areas to concern yourself with for future. The biggest one that we see is in the area of all of the federal funding. There is a large dollars of amounts coming through the district in COVID relief funds, whether they're in ESSER 1s, ESSER 2s, the ESSER 3s. And as a result, when the more money comes in, the ability that the districts can have external auditors from the federal government come and review your accounting records. So we always say, make sure you dot every I, cross every T, and keep everything intact, because when we come in and we do our review, but when they come in, they drill right into specific programs, and we want to make sure that our districts are prepared. I have no qualms saying that if they were to come, you would have no problem in their review. However, they're the level of oversight. If they feel that there's a problem, they could ask for those funds back. Highly doubt they ever will, based on the record keeping of Pascack. We have started to see them come into numerous districts of ours. What they've done in the past, in previous years, what they would look at, once they're here, they look at all your grants. With the ESSER funds and the large number, they've been looking at specific grants, which is actually a little bit easier for most districts. A lot of it's detailed or like more documentation. They're looking at the controls that you have in place as a district to make sure you're spending those funds correctly. Like I said, it was a wonderful opportunity to work with the district, and I'm available for questions if anyone has any.
Any questions? I want to thank you for a very thorough report, and also thank our business office. It's just so refreshing year after year to have clean or nearly clean audits, and it's a testament to everyone that works there, preceding groups as well. So good job, great job, and keep it up.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Now we're ready for Dr. Barry back. Talk about Start Strong exam results.
Do we have to come down there?
Or I could just listen.
Do we need the screen, and should we move?
We need the screen for this one, yeah. Sorry to make you all move.
Okay, listen.
We need a better system.
Think of this as a little stretch break, perhaps, as we briefly take you through the Start Strong. So Start Strong is a required test that we've had to give both last year and this year. We are required to do the test results on this, present in public to the Board of Education within 60 days of receiving our exam scores. We received our exam scores a little under 2 weeks ago, so meeting that mandate there. Brief background for those of you not familiar with Start Strong. Last year was the first year we started with this test. This September was the second year of administration. We are required to give it in the fall. It is not a graduation requirement. However, students are required to take it. So it's called a due notice test. Gives information to the school that we are supposed to be able to use. The state of New Jersey has a 5-year contract, which means we have to do this for at least 3 more years. Students took this at the end of September. As I said, we just got the results. Typically 9th grade students in math, 10th grade students in 9th and 10th grade students in ELA, and 9th and 12th grade students in science. So I'm going to briefly take you through these score reports. This test was originally designed to give us information to help adjust students who may have had some learning loss over the course of the summer, especially students entering school. As we get it now at almost the end of the first semester, let's just say we know about these students long before we got these test results, but we will share this as we are required to. So as a district analysis, this was our English language arts breakdown. The green, just by show of numbers, says that these are students where less support would be needed, yellow would be some support needed, red would be strong support being needed. So typically across the board, most of our ELA students coming into high school as 9th graders and as 10th graders doing fairly well. Both schools, interestingly enough, identical numbers. We really saw no gap in any of our scores between Hills and Valley. In mathematics, numbers a little bit less. These are for 9th graders. So again, this is their readiness entering into high school. Typically, Algebra 2 are our most accelerated students. Geometry are our somewhat accelerated students, and Algebra 1 tend to be our college preparatory students. So again, according to this doesn't count in terms of, this is information they say that students would be expected to know by the end of the course, and they're giving it at the beginning of the course. So this actually says that 52% of our students in Geometry and Algebra 2, for example, know a fair amount of the material that they haven't learned yet, or at least that they'll have as far as their readiness goes. As far as science, taking a look, it's saying these numbers, when you look at on face value, are not fantastic. However, if you paid attention to the State Board of Education meeting last week, collectively across the state, science scores were down significantly. Whether or not this is because of the testing materials or student readiness in science across the board, these numbers are not unique to us. In fact, our numbers are actually slightly higher compared to state numbers when it comes to science numbers. Really a better stock of our scores, as I present to you last month. Other things that we look at in terms of end of the year scores, NJGPA, SATs, AP scores along those lines. We're also required to do a brief demographic analysis by groups that have more than 10 students who fit into that demographic. So the first one is certainly by racial breakdown, Asian, Black, Latinx, multiple, and white. Again, green being students who might need less support, yellow meaning some support, and red meaning possibly strong support, kind of across the board there. Specifically, this is in ELA language arts. In mathematics, similar numbers if you do look at each of the breakdowns there. And then lastly, in science as well, again, just lower numbers across the board representative of the scores that we're seeing there. In terms of gender, we're required to show that breakdown there. Across the board, females tend to outscore males. That has been the trend for years. Lots of reasons you could say why that's happening, but that is a statewide and a national trend. We don't see that, however, when it comes to mathematics. Normally, females outscore males for whatever reason this year by 4% at least in terms of readiness. From statistical perspective, that's about even. And then lastly, for science, again, statistically about the same between the two genders. Then lastly, breakdown by students who may have special needs, Gen Ed versus students with IEPs, our ELL students and our 504 students. This is an ELA, obviously, as expected, Gen Ed students would score the highest. Students ELL for English language, or English is not their first language, clearly those students need support, hence the purpose of the program. In mathematics, across the board, similarly, numbers we get in terms are not surprising. And again, we get this information, as I said, about 2 weeks ago. We've been providing support for students who need it since the start of school. We didn't wait for test results to start helping students who might need it. Again, in science across the board, very telling there, ELL students, at least on this particular test, did not do well at all in science. They say that strong support's needed for all of them, which we built that in as a component as part of our ELL program. So again, information required to present this to the board. I will tell you with great confidence that we have been providing support for students who need it. Really since the summer, we have our acceleration programs. We have programs that identify students who might need the help from our multi-tiered systems of support. These are both in-class and out-of-class supports. We have Title I support that we have built in, especially at Pascack Valley, providing one-on-one and small group instruction. So we're pretty pleased that this year across the board, when you compare this year's scores to last year's scores, they are higher. That tells me that we're 1 year removed from, not being in school during the 2020 school year, every other day during the subsequent school year, in every day last year and every day this year, I would expect those scores to continue to get higher. I'd expect next year's scores to be even higher after that, just because as we emerge more and more from schooling, which the research shows was not good for kids. Remote learning was better than nothing, but it's not as good as being in school. And so certainly we are aware of that. Questions that I can answer?
Just a quick question here or observation that we had the breakdown of ELL and you have the numbers of how many students were in each category.
So it's at least 10. If it's not 10, we don't report on it.
Okay.
So I will tell you that our ELL program tends to be small. It's near that number.
Okay, so therefore the reason for such high spikes.
Yeah, it's a very small group. If a subgroup has less than 10 students, we don't report on it because those students can be easily identified. I will say that of all the subgroups, ELL is our smallest subgroup.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Because I think ours went out as a middle school. Reports didn't go out yet, right? To the families?
Actually just got them today.
Oh, okay, there you go, that answers that. Because the middle schools got them a while
My
ago.
kids all got their scores. I thought it was
Maybe it was a GPA from last year.
no, it was from the state testing.
Okay, everybody good?
I don't
All
know.
right, we are up to the first open to the public's section. Do we have anybody, well, comments, citizens are invited to make comments regarding agenda items only and limited to 3 minutes. We are open to the public. Seeing no hands, we will close to the public. We have 3 consent agenda items under policy. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. On education, there is a +1 agenda item you should
We
all...
need to vote?
Oh, yeah, we do, don't we? Roll call?
Dr. Bundy?
Yes.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Stankus?
Yes.
Ms. Steffens?
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes for 1 and 2, abstain for number 3.
Mr. Blundell?
Yes. And under education, we have a +1. We have now 4 agenda items. Everybody should have been supplied the 4th. Anybody not see that?
Yes.
Okay, so is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Bundy?
Yes.
Mrs. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Stankus?
Yes.
Ms. Steffens?
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
Mr. Blundell?
Yes. We have 13 items under consent agenda for human resources. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Discussion?
I just have one comment to make. Very excited to see, I know in a shortage of having educators and subs, that one of our own students, Jake Lutz, is back and willing to sub in our district. It's really nice to see.
That's great. Question, Sarah. Ms. Safari is moving to the interim supervisor of instruction. Is she still in the classroom or what?
Yes, so
Okay.
we are hiring essentially a temporary leave replacement to replace her classroom instruction.
So she's coming out of the classroom?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
And, okay, for now, or for indefinite, who knows?
Well, we're approving her for this year. The intention would be for her to do the entire leave, which would be a full year leave, but because of our contracting, obviously.
Got it.
Yep.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Oh,
Doctor-
no, I'm sorry. We are approving her actually for the full year leave. I take it back. I'm sorry. Yes, so 1 year.
So the supervisor's out
calendar
for a
year.
year on a leave. Ms. Safari is going to take the supervisor role, and then you hired a temporary teacher to cover Ms. Safari's classes.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
And that's going to be a year.
Correct.
Got it. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Bundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundell.
Yes. All right. Finance, we have 14 consent agenda items. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Bundy,
Yes.
Mrs. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Stankus,
Yes.
Ms. Steffens,
Yes.
Mrs. Varghese,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver,
Yes.
Mr. Blundell.
Yes. We have any old business, SSDS report?
So you received this. This is just a requirement from the state that we report this out. We're reporting out 9 total instances and 6 total HIVs during the reporting period for periods 1, and 1 total instance and no HIVs for reporting period number 2.
Anybody else have any other old business? Any new business? All right, we'll open up a second time for comments from the public on any topic. Seeing no hands, we will close to the public. And we still have a closed?
That's at your discretion. That's just for the 1 HIV that you received the full report on.
I just didn't get the end of it.
We
Is
need
the
to
whole thing
discuss
there?
it, because then we have to go to close, which is fine.
No, I just don't know if I don't have the whole report. Mine stops mid-sentence.
Oh, you know what? It's, hold on a second. I think it was attached in full, and I think when we printed it, hold on one second.
So, but this was the only one, right?
That was the only.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure there was nothing that, like a second when I followed it. I'm fine then. It's
Good.
the same one that we saw.
Yeah. There is one more sentence. It is in the
Yeah.
PDF. You
Yeah, I
saw
saw that then. I didn't know if it would continue.
Okay, so we did old business. I don't know if I asked any new business. I'll ask again. Sure. Okay. We did comments from the public, right? And then we were going to go to motion. We don't need an executive session then. So I believe we are, let's see, adjournment. Before adjournment, just want to wish each and every one of you a healthy and happy holiday season, public as well, and a great new year, because this will be our last meeting in December. So
That's right.
happy holidays, Merry Christmas, et cetera. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
By acclamation. We are adjourned.